Hi, good morning.
Good morning. Priya, are you there? Are you communications?
Yes, I am.
Okay, so you're the host, is that right?
We're both hosts.
Okay.
I'm gonna step away from my computer. I just have to walk my dog. I'll be back at like 5 minutes.
Okay.
Okay.
This is early for those of us who are here at 9:30.
Yes, we appreciate you letting us in early. Our sisters are going to be signing in shortly. We just want to go through logistics because, I mean, we've done this presentation many times, but we just, we'd like to have a few minutes to test our mics and make sure that anything changes, we are ready to present.
Okay, hi, Nernie. She's there. There she
Hi,
is.
Dee. How are you? Hey, Veronica.
Hey, Nernie. Thank you
Cool.
for having us. Sisters will start signing in just a second.
Cool. It's all good. Morning, everybody.
Good morning.
So, Veronica, you're part of the sister circle?
I am.
Okay, and how many others are going to be?
There's a total
Joining us.
of 7 sisters, including myself, but today
Okay.
only 6 of us will be presenting. And Pam Hernandez is studying her doctoral program, so she has class today. But we will miss her, but share her piece as well.
Okay.
She is the mastermind behind this group and
I got
initiated
to
the whole thing.
preview their presentation, and it's pretty cool. So it definitely captures all the things that I was inspired by what Veronica does. So Veronica and I are really good friends. And
Yes.
she shares what they do on a regular basis, and it's inspiring. So anyway,
Thank you.
hopefully everyone will agree with me. If not,
I'm
Maybe
sure.
I
They
know.
will.
Trisha, thank you for that sweet card. That was
Oh,
very
you're
kind.
welcome.
It was very
Thank
kind.
you.
It was very kind. Yeah. Anyhow, so Jenny, who's Jenny? Jenny. Yeah, I was texting with Priya this morning to make sure that everybody got in. And Veronica, I let our communications person know that Jessica is going to be moderating.
Okay.
But it's an open Zoom, so
Okay.
there shouldn't be any issues with sharing.
Okay, awesome.
It'll be okay. Yeah.
I'm Jenny.
Oh,
Hi, Jenny.
my best friend's joining as Veronica Godinez, but her camera's off.
I
She's
see
just
that.
listening. So I thank you, Trini, for being here.
Hi, Trudy.
Oh no,
Does she
that's
see it?
Sandra. Change your name, Sandra.
What does it say? Oh,
Veronica.
the imposter.
Welcome,
Good morning,
Sandra.
everyone. Good morning.
Hello.
Can you change your name or is that?
There
Yeah.
she goes.
There
Got
it
it.
is.
I'll be right back.
Okay.
I just wanted to make sure y'all could get in. I'll be right back.
Okay, thank you.
Thank
How you doing,
you.
beautiful sister? Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. The flowers are so beautiful. I love them, love them, love them.
Oh,
Have them
you're
right here. Brought them
welcome.
home.
Make sure you check the mail. There's something in the mail for you from all of us.
Okay, I did. And I wasn't sure.
It's an
Because it didn't say
envelope.
anything.
It's a gift certificate to somewhere.
I know. So my husband gave it to me and he's like, who got you this? I'm like, I don't know. It doesn't
It's
say.
for a spa, right? And a massage?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. I'm like gonna go today.
Oh,
Awesome.
is that what you do in Sister Circle? You give massages?
Yes, we do.
Well, we
Oh my
celebrate
gosh.
each other's birthdays.
So much.
We do all kinds of stuff. And yesterday was her birthday. So we all pitch in and send her flowers. And this year it's massage and spa gift certificates.
Wow.
That's the theme.
Yeah.
I think we all need a special massage and some spa treatments with all the stress.
Erica and I are
Yeah.
envy.
All this.
We'll have to start that. That
Yes.
sounds like a good tradition.
Yes, and we'll be sharing a lot. I mean, how we started, and how we been supporting each other through this pandemic and leading our schools and our families.
Yeah. So happy to be with all of you, and thank you for trusting us. Veronica is one of our lead sisters when it comes to like organizing and just being really out there with different circles and talking to people. And so we hope our story inspires you. I think it will. I really think it will. So thanks for trusting us.
Okay.
There's Jessica.
Jessica. There's Susan's logging in. You can always tell her by her amazing scuba pictures.
Oh.
Good morning, Lynn. Change your name. Lynn is joining
my
us from
gosh.
Virginia. So yeah, Jessica is in Colton.
And we're super excited to see him too, just so you know, because we haven't seen each other in a little bit, like on the screen. We text every day, but we don't get to see each other. So we're like really happy too.
That's cool.
There should be a lot of people coming to the waiting room.
Jessica, I just emailed you the final presentation.
Okay, perfect.
Good morning.
Good morning,
Good
Jessica.
morning.
Morning, sister.
Sorry, I was trying to get myself situated here. All right.
That's a little better.
Sister Veronica, I pulled up the one from Alas. Is this the same one?
No, it's the same with slide deck, but I made
Okay.
one specifically for with their QR code for this organization. It's exactly the
Oh.
same.
Okay, so I can still use that one, huh?
Yes, you can. I didn't change any of that.
Okay.
Let me send the Zoom link to Maria really quick.
Morning, Susan.
Good morning.
Jessica.
I always love when you log in because you're the scuba diver I want to be. Like I'm still at like the general open water level, but I aspire to be.
I didn't know you dived. That's cool.
Yeah. My son and I got certified together about 5 years ago. And
Wonderful.
he said, Mom, come do this with me. And I said, okay, that'll be great. And
Well,
then,
good for you.
yeah, it was super fun. It is fun, but
Well, this was a very clear day at Catalina Island where I took a picture from underwater, and that's the casino
wow.
above water. You can see some of the casino over there.
Yeah.
I've been there.
At the casino?
I've been there where that picture that I did that
Yeah.
for my underwater dive.
Yeah.
Cool.
It's a
Very
nice
pretty.
place. It's a pretty
Yeah.
place. This day was so clear, I could see through the water up to the casino. So that's why I like the picture. That's kelp, not trees, but kelps.
Yeah.
And
it's
the
the
little dots are fish, not birds.
help.
Yeah.
So pretty.
I'll get in here.
Jessica, I just sent you a text message.
Welcome, Maria.
Good morning.
Good morning, Sister Maria.
Great to see all
Good
of you.
morning.
Great to see you.
So is everyone in the Inland Empire? Is most everybody out here?
Yeah, it's the Redlands area AAUW. So it's correct me if I'm wrong, but it's Yucaipa, Beaumont, Redlands, Loma Linda,
Okay.
little bit of San Bernardino folks live. So, and I live in Temecula. So it's weird that I'm in the Redlands AAUW, but because I teach at the U of R, it's just easier for me to get to meetings like in Redlands than to come back to Temecula. So, and they're an amazing group of women. So
Got it.
that was a plus too.
We pay her to say that too.
Yeah, I do. They do.
Yeah, well played.
Not enough, but
I know. No, they are. I was a speaker. How I got connected with them is I was a speaker a few years ago and I spoke about Haiti, my work in Haiti. And then I just thought they were such an amazing group and what they stood for and what they strived for and the work that they do on the national, state, and local level to support women, and particularly girls in education, was just like, yes, please, I'll be happy to be a part of this. So I came to membership by way of being a speaker. So it was kind of fun.
And you've been a very active member, so we appreciate it.
How we doing?
We're still waiting for Sister Maria to log on.
She's here.
She's here, Maria's here.
Oh no, Rosa. Rosa. And Maria, I'm sending you the background right now.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Every time I see Veronica, she's got more Sister Circle swag, stuff, products, things. It's like,
Yes. It's all about sharing about my sisters.
Stickers, all that stuff.
For sure. I can send some stickers to you and you can share with some of your members.
Okay, sure.
And
That'd be
then
great.
I think in our slide presentation, we have where you can get your swag too.
Okay.
And the person who makes our swag is actually a teacher in Murrieta, Temecula area. And we use her and she does a fabulous job of creating our t-shirts and bags and mugs and all kinds of stuff. So we like empowering women and building their business too as well.
Okay, we have a bunch of people in the waiting room.
Okay, cool. They're coming in.
They're coming in.
Yes.
They're coming in. And Sister Circle, just so you guys know, I'm not going to introduce each of you because the bios have already gone out in our newsletter. And if I introduce all of you and all of your accomplishments, it will take up all your time. So it will be introduction and then we need to be done. So I did send out pretty detailed bios in our newsletter. So I'm just going to do a brief intro. I'm going to introduce Veronica, just how our connection is, and then y'all can take it from there and all of that. Okay, so that's why.
Awesomeness. Yeah.
I'm not going to do all, because literally your bios are like pages long. So so I think that's going to be better use of our time to just start with Veronica, and then you guys.
Okay, but we're not going to start quite yet.
Yeah,
Okay.
I got you.
Okay.
So Jessica will be our moderator. She will be sharing our slide deck and starting off the conversation. And then we will go in different orders based on our slide deck.
Yeah, and then our communications person said that she'll just spotlight each of you as you speak. So
Okay,
that'll be perfect.
awesome. And we will be sharing our slide deck with all of you. It's built in with lots of links and lots of resources that you can use.
I'll get that to Kay, Erica, so she can get it out to the membership.
What are you getting to, Kay? I'm sorry.
Their presentation, when they're done, they're going to share it with us so that people want
Okay,
the
good.
information. So I'll get it to Kay and then she can.
We
send it
can
out.
post it on on our website or on Facebook?
We'll probably
or-
just email it to everybody
Mhm.
from her news at AAUW account. That seems to get to everybody. I would do it, but I don't have everybody's emails in one place, and that's a lot of emails to enter by hand. So I don't want to do that.
Has Rosa signed
Okay, we
on?
have just a couple more minutes before.
Sure, no worries.
And there are still people entering the waiting room.
Yeah, we're good.
So,
We're right on time. No worries.
yeah, we are. We're very much on time.
I know. 'Cause we have like technical circles, that keep us, it's like we start a little late. We're figuring out the tech side, but I think it's amazing. I was in a meeting the other day with teachers, and we were talking about how fluent we've all become with all of this. So when you say, I'm going to spotlight you, I'm going to, it's people are speaking the same language, and what a gift. I mean, not that the pandemic has been a gift, but this has been a gift from that, is being able to do this kind of stuff. And we were talking about how we all kind of know, okay, the first time we logged onto Zoom, took 20 minutes, and now it's, get the link and move forward.
We can adapt.
Yeah, exactly. Well, we've had to pivot all year, all the last 2 years, we've had to pivot back and forth.
Mhm. Yes, we have. And I think we're going to pivot back live next month.
In March. Good. Well,
Yeah.
if the
So
trends follow,
Omicron better watch out.
we're coming for you.
Unfortunately, if we meet Omicron hand on, they win. All right. I think it's time to call this meeting to order. It is now, let me see, let me get rid of this.
And are we recording? Oh, yeah. Yeah, we are.
Priya, are we recording?
Yes, we are.
Yes, we are. Okay. So I'm calling the meeting to order. And the first little thing we're going to do is to introduce whatever guests we have here, which won't include the sister circle because they'll be introduced later. So Trish.
I don't have a list
We
of
don't have a
guests.
guest list? Okay,
No.
let me just ask in general to our membership, did you bring any guests? Is there anybody who brought guests? Or any guests who are here who were brought and would like to introduce themselves?
Don't be shy.
Or, right, we're all friendly here. Okay. Okay, Priya, you're taking care of the waiting room?
Yeah, I'll take care of all of that. You can focus on the meeting.
Okay, so oh, it says I'm not allowing you to unmute. Priya, can you unmute everybody and then let them mute themselves?
It says, Catherine, I think you are unmuted. Are you
I'm
able to talk?
unmuted.
Let me try.
Yeah,
My
we can hear you.
computer
We
told
can
me
hear
that
you. We can hear you.
my computer said no. You said yes. It's all good. Good morning.
Morning.
Good morning. Okay, it seems like there's still several people entering. So, well, let's just go on to birthdays. Trisha, do you have a
I
list of
have
birthdays?
those. I
Okay,
certainly
good.
do. And happy birthday. There are a lot of birthdays. This is February is a big month and August is even bigger, but happy birthday to the following February babies: Rosemary Conway, Kay Dobberton, Judy Elder, Ginny Evans Perry, who was here early, Janice Jacobson, Cheryl Jordan, Lois Knutson, Lisa McCarty, Kathleen Presnell Best, Renee Reswick, Nelda Stuck, Karen Watkins, and Denise Westkoff. Those are our February babies. These are our August birthdays: Heather Abushanab, Gail Anderson, Sid Breyer, Peggy Cook, Rosalind Dunn, Marion Golson, Joyce Heitmeyer, Martha Lehman, Valerie Lickman, Ann Marshall, Betty Meltzer, Tony Momberger, Kathy Curtis Odegaard, Jane Roberts, Ann Siddell, Susan Shodall, and Susan Willis. Happy birthday, ladies. Do you want me to sing?
You don't have to, unless you want to. But we acknowledge February and August birthdays because over the summer, we don't, we're not having branch meetings. So, so it's 6 months from now. So happy birthday to everybody.
Birthday.
All right. And then the next thing is our thought for the month. And Danita, I understand that you're doing the thought for the month. Danita Remington, I know you're here. I saw you pop in from the.
I forgot to unmute. I'm ready now.
Okay. Danita, this is Danita Remington who is going to do our thought for the month.
For the thought for the month, I wanted to reflect on last month's presentation regarding diversity. Twyla Evans-Carthen spoke about generational diversity, awareness, inclusion, and belonging. She engaged us in a conversation about actively pursuing practices and behaviors to foster a culture of acceptance, respect, fairness, transparency, and belonging. The themes of belonging, respect, and inclusion spoke to me. I intended to stress how this is important institutionally and in our individual lives. I thought of examples of how here at AAUW, we have different experiences, different backgrounds, and all share the belief in the transformative power of education and the importance of service. I saw the overlapping circles of a Venn diagram in my mind. And while this was all well and good for a thought for the month, it was somewhat impersonal. Then I attended a writing workshop. I was quite nervous and unsure, out of my comfort zone. The individuals in the workshop were different from me, many quite younger, different experiences, different backgrounds, all experienced writers. Instead of feeling other, I felt included. This was, I believe, not just because of the compassion and good hearts of those present, though that is undoubtedly true, but also because respect, belonging, and inclusion were part of the plan, part of the design. The parameters for feedback were simple and clear. What do you remember? What do you like? What spoke to you? I want to encourage us all to think of these questions as we work to cultivate belonging, respect, diversity, and inclusion within AAUW and in our personal lives. Reach out to others. Step aside of your comfort zone. We have much to learn from each other. The wider our circle, the deeper our understanding, and the richer our lives and organization can be.
Thank you, Danita. And a little bit later, after our program, we'll talk a little bit about what's been going on since last month's meeting about the issue of diversity, because there are a couple of groups that have been meeting and have discussed where we want to go from here. So we'll make announcements about that. But thanks so much, Danita. Okay, it's time for the program. It's time for the Sister Circle. So, Nerney, are you good? You're going to announce them?
I'm all set. Yeah. So I invited the Sister Circle to meet with us today through my friendship with Veronica Godinez. She's a principal in Pomona, and all of the Sister Circle's bios are were in the newsletter. So I'm not going to go into big detail about that because it would take up all of our time to talk about all the things these amazing women do. So I'm just going to talk about my connection to Veronica really quickly and then let them get started. So I wrote a grant a few years ago, about 8 years ago, and Veronica was the administrator on that grant for her school. And I think she thought I was going to kill her because I'm not known for my driving, and I was driving the rental car, and I'm surprised she called me and said, hey, we need to get together and connect. And we just became friends. And now we're lifelong friends. I would think we both think. And about, a year and a half ago, she started talking about this group of women, and she kept talking about these sisters. And I knew she didn't have 7 sisters, so I kind of didn't understand. And then she finally explained to me, and then just over the course of several months, with her sharing with me and us, taking long walks together and talking about all the amazing things that they were doing with each other, I thought they'd be a perfect group to bring to AAUW. I think their mission and their vision aligns so closely with what AAUW does with empowering women and girls, to support one another in a world where we're so competitive with other women. Often they model and then sustain this practice of building one another up in all things. And I think that really matches. For me, it really connected both with 2 things in our organization this year. If you think back to Erica, when she started the year with find your group of women that you can be supported by and that you can support. That was her thought for the month at the beginning of the year. And then last month, our presenter talked about generational connection and working with one another, other women, cross-generationally. And I think that both of those really were a perfect predecessor to this presentation from Sister Circle. Their mission aligns, and I've just been so inspired by Veronica as an individual, but then by proxy, this group of amazing women. So take it away.
Thank you, Nernie, for your kind words. Jessica is going to go ahead and get us started. Go ahead.
Okay, well, thank you very much. Welcome. Welcome. I want to thank you for inviting us here this morning to this wonderful meeting and event. We were just kind of texting behind the scenes saying, wow, this is what we want to, accomplish one day, is to be able to bring this many wonderful females together and be able to highlight one another and support one another. So that's exactly what our mission is here today. And so I'm just going to go ahead and have us just quickly introduce ourselves. We'll go through. Veronica, can you control the presentation for us? We can't hear you.
Veronica, you're muted.
Okay, hold on just a second. Let me change some screens around.
Okay, so while she's getting that, we'll put that slide up, but I'll go ahead and start us. I'm Jessica Gomez. I am a principal. I've been a principal for about 11 years, been in education for about 21 years in Colton, California, which is right near Redlands. There we go. And
oops,
we'll get
on.
situated.
Sorry.
No worries, no worries.
Let me move some controls over. Can you guys see all my emails and stuff? Sorry.
No, all we see is the share.
All you see is the share?
Yeah. You're sharing the presentation.
If you do the advanced options in Zoom, you can just focus on the slide, even if you have the whole screen up.
Okay.
Okay, well, we're waiting for that. Maria, can you go ahead and introduce yourself?
Thank you for that. My name is Maria Martinez-Pullen. I'm the Deputy Superintendent with the Los Angeles County Office of Education, one of the largest regional agencies in the nation with 80 school districts, 2 million kids, 13,000 preschoolers. Happy to be here.
Thank you. Rosa.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Rosa Isaiah. This is my 28th year in education. I am currently serving students as Director of Elementary Schools, Equity and Access in the Norwalk-La Mirada area. And I am passionate about equity and access for all.
Thank you. Zandra.
All right. Good morning, everyone. Glad to be here. Thank you for having us. My name is Zandra Galvan. I'm a superintendent of a school district called Greenfield Union School District in Monterey County, California. And I'm also the CALSA president of an organization throughout California for uplifting Latino superintendents and administrators. Honored to be here.
Thank you. Lynn.
Hi, everyone. I am on the other side of the United States. I am Lynn Mara Colon, I am in Northern Virginia. Actually, I think it's 12:50 something here. I serve as the director of student opportunity and multilingual services in a school division of 90,000 students, overseeing Title I L programs, translation and interpretation, gifted education, word languages, and preschools.
All right. And then last but not least, Veronica.
Hi, my name is Veronica Godinez. I'm an elementary school principal at Pomona Unified, and super excited to be here. Thank you.
All right. So as you can see here on our first slide, the title of our presentation is Taking the Lead, Transforming Education with the Female Support Model. And there we are. I do want to introduce, although she is not able to be here because she is currently getting her doctorate, so she has class today. So of course she needed to be there, is Pam Gildersleeve Hernandez. And she has really been the catalyst that has brought us together. And we'll share the story we'll share the story next, but she is the reason why we are together. And we're kind of sad she's not here, but we completely understand. She is, we can't wait to call her Dr. Gildersleeve Hernandez very soon. Okay, next slide. Okay, so when we present, we each have a piece of the presentation. And this is actually a piece that Pam, and rightfully so, begins our presentation, because our sister circle began with one text, one very personalized text. And this was, I kept this text. This was when Pam reached out to me. This was back in, oh gosh, what year was this? 2020, 2019?
20. Oh gosh, I can't
20.
see that.
They all merged together. But it was, for me, it was May 17th. I just don't know what year it was. And so she reached out to me and said, hi, Jessica, we have a small sister circle group going with Rosa, Alexandra, Veronica, Maria, in a text thread. Super chill and motivating. I love to add you if you're okay with that. And I thought, oh, that was kind of strange. First of all, I don't know any of these sisters, right? I knew Pam, and we all knew Pam. And so they had already connected prior to this, and they were, you know, so I thought, I don't know what it is, but let me look them up and let me see what they're about. And then I said, of course, yes, please. I want to be part of this. Not realizing what it was going to become. Next slide. And so came the Women in Leadership. The impact of a positive female support model is what has become of our sister circle. Currently, and I don't know if these statistics are still as current, but they're probably not far off. Right now, we have about 76% of public educators who are females. About 54% of the principals are females. And then we get down to the superintendentship. And when we get down to the superintendentship, you can see what a significant drop it gets to at 27% of superintendents across the country are female. So it's quite the disparity between how many educators we have that are female versus how many superintendents. And so with that said, it's a pretty amazing opportunity we've had in our sister circle to be able to support and uplift all of our female superintendents, but all of those of us who may aspire to be a superintendent has really given us the courage and the ability to say, I can do that too, and break that cycle, right, of having such a low percentage of superintendents. Next slide. So I want us to think, and then we're going to just go ahead and just add it in the chat. Think of a time, a place, a group where you felt like you really belonged. And I love the story that was being shared earlier because it fits exactly to this. What qualities did this sense of belonging bring out in you? Let's just take a moment to start adding some thoughts and reflections in the chat. Happiness and confidence, sense of humor. Joy, belonging, creativity, wanting to work hard, safety. I feel I belong when we can be comfortably silent with one another. Yes. Leadership with kindness, connectedness, assisting others. So as you can see, right, and these environments are the types of environments that we thrive, especially as females. Yet it is such a challenge to find spaces where this actually happens, where spaces where we as female leaders can actually experience all of the things that we're sharing here in the chat, from transparency to friendship. All of these things are what we yearn for, but rarely do we have. Next slide. And so hence the creation of a sister circle. So Pam had a vision. She had a vision that she knew each of us individually. We were on for AAUW, which is the California Association of Administrators. They had their women's leadership symposium, and it was during COVID, like at the beginning of COVID. And we were all just like this on a Zoom, right? Just like this on a Saturday morning, super exhausted because the world had just kind of like, it had been turned upside down with COVID, and we were now working from home. And it became as it is, our jobs are very, can be very isolating, can be we can feel very alone if we stay in that space of aloneness. But now imagine that through having to work from home, right? We're home, we're in a virtual environment, we're not around people. And Pam had a vision. She said, wait a minute, I see all of these amazing women on here. I know them individually as people, but they don't know each other. I need to connect them. So she sent a text to each one of us, hence creating this sister circle. And here was the text to the group. So she's like, connecting our sister circle. Hello, beautiful ladies. I'm Veronica Godinez. So this was the beginning of, this is who I am. This is who I am. Hello, Veronica. This is Rosa. And may I save your numbers, connections? So it was just kind of this, like, we're kind of tiptoeing around each other, right? Like, I'm just starting to know you. And you can read the text string there, right? And next, and we start to just, and then this is Pam up in probably San Luis Obispo, and just having a great time. And this was kind of like the beginning of, oh, okay, we're starting to connect. We're starting to share a little bit more about who we are, right? And next slide. And as you can see, it starts to get, okay, we're getting a little bit more comfortable. We're getting a little bit more transparent. We're starting to feel a little bit more of a friendship. Keep going. And really what it ended up being, so it ended up being this amazing sister circle. And it's a sister circle of shared values. And that's why it works. And we're going to talk a little bit more about how it turned out that our sister circle just flourishes and why we get along so well and why we understand each other so well. But at the core of it all is our shared values. And so with that, I'm going to go ahead and hand it over to Dr. Perez Isaiah, who is going to share with us some more insight into our sister circle.
Good morning, everyone, and thank you for welcoming us this morning. And I've been quoted here. This is the group I didn't know I needed. And at one point in our early journey, I shared this with them because although I'm a director and I'm a consultant and present and speak, I'm a little bit of a homebody, kind of a mellow, leave me alone. I want to rest person. And so when I was approached by Pam, I thought, well, okay, this is a good opportunity to network. There aren't a lot of us. And as Jessica mentioned, as we move up in our work into positions that have more responsibility, there are fewer and fewer and fewer of us. So I said, sure, I'll jump in, and I can always block them if they're odd. But I mean, lo and behold, I didn't realize that I think I needed them and their support more than they needed me. And especially through navigating through this pandemic, it's been quite lonely. There's always work to be done when you are leading a district, a county, a school. And then at the end of the day, you're exhausted, and there are not many opportunities to share and vent. So the impact on myself as a human being, as a woman, has been incredible. It is incredibly rewarding, and it truly is the group I didn't realize I needed. As a leader, the impact of a sister circle has developed me in new ways. I learn from this group every single day. We connect daily, we share daily. If I need support with a project, if I am leading work on a report, I know I can just ask my sister circle, I'll drop it, and everyone is busy, so we respond as we are able to, but it's an incredible support group. The truth is we're smarter together. There are, listening to them share about who they are, I'm just in awe of their accomplishments, because it's not common, as you very well know, to have so many of us like this in a group with this type of experience. They are a wealth of knowledge. They're a resource. We coach and we mentor each other. And you can pay thousands of dollars to do that. We do that naturally. I think we're all leaders, natural leaders, and we enjoy supporting and mentoring and coaching each other up. We also give each other harder advice, because part of what makes us work is this transparency and honesty and trust within the group. And as we move along, our trust and our bond gets stronger. And for some of us who haven't had a lot of supportive leaders around us, it takes some time to build that trust. And we're there. We're at a point where what is said in the sister circle stays in the sister circle, and what is shared with us stays with us. And there are fewer and fewer of us out there. We are noticing as people are retiring and moving on, and I would love to do some research around this work. There are fewer women moving into these roles, at least locally, into administrator roles that have a big impact on students. And then, on a different note, the confidence that we create. We praise each other, we highlight each other, we uplift each other, and that just does something, as Lynn would say, magical to each one of us. I think our families have noticed we are more confident and determined, and everyone should have a sister circle.
Thank you, Rosa. Yes, you're 100% correct on everything that you've said. And as Rosa talked about the positive impact on her leadership, Maria is going to expand a little bit more on the positive impact of women leadership networks. And she'll share a little bit about her journey in discovering more behind the positive impact that this has on us as females. Maria?
Thank you for that, Jessica. I'm just so, again, inspired and love to share our journey, our process, and want to share that when I was at SC working on my doctoral studies, one of the areas that I focused on was the idea of women using informal and formal networks and mentorships for the pathway to getting into the superintendency. I wanted to look at how are women different from men? How do we utilize those opportunities with mentorships and networks so that we can have that upward trajectory? And it turns out we're very different. We utilize them very different. And it's because many times women have responsibilities in the home, and that gets in the way of how we participate in networking opportunities. Many times we have other things that we also have competing responsibilities, and we also look at those opportunities in a different way. If you think about men, oftentimes men will go to a conference and then they go play golf. Many times men will go to a meeting and then they go hang out for drinks. Many times men will look at a job opportunity and say to their friend, hey buddy, I think this is something that you would do great in. But for women, for us, it's a little more challenging. Many times, again, we have family responsibilities, whether it's our children, our parents, other responsibilities to extended family members that get in the way of being able to go to a conference and then go play golf, go to work and then attend a meeting and then stay and hang out for drinks. So it doesn't allow for that same opportunity to network, to build those relationships that allow for sharing of insider information, and that gets in the way. But when you can build your own network and build upon that informal networking opportunity to share insider information, it is like getting on a freeway to access resources. It's like getting on a freeway to get articles, to get research, to find out about opportunities to college classes, to job openings, to look at opportunities that we may not have had because we weren't building those same relationships. So this idea of, again, connecting and building upon the relationship, the connections, it's important, it's vital to us. But again, many times women, we're not allowed to do that because we have other responsibilities. And many times for women, if we do too much networking, if we're out too much outside of the house, if we're outside of our school side of our district, people say, boy, she's out a lot. She's really not at home. She's really not, it could be a double-edged sword. And so we've had to navigate that. And the research does say that women have to balance it because we get a lot of negative feedback if we do too much of that. And so my research says that if we can expand upon that informal network and expand upon our mentorships, then we do better. We do better with that upward trajectory. We do better when we can connect and share insider information with each other. We know that we can build trusting relationships. We've all been burned with a bad relationship. It's not always with women. Sometimes it's with men too, but we have to get past that and we have to be able to say, women can uplift other women. And I heard you say that with your organization, AAUW, you're all about respect, inclusion, belonging, and diversity. And we need to celebrate that. We need to say that women can do that for other women, because sometimes the narrative that's out there is that women compete with each other and you can't trust each other. But we came together and we said, we're not about that. We actually want to change that narrative. And the research says that when you have a small group, less than 10, that's the magical number, less than 10, you can build those trusting relationships and you can be vulnerable. And that's where it matters. And the text, it matters that we went from something very light and very, hey, who are you? Let me look up your social media. And then it became more about, can I tell you about my family? Can I tell you about my struggle at work? Can I ask for help? Can I be vulnerable with you and know that my concerns, my issues are not going to leave the circle? You can't do that with a big circle. It's like Grandma said, you don't need a lot of friends. You need a few, and your few friends will help you. That, and don't put anything in your ear, right? Except for your elbow, because my grandma used to say that too. Don't put anything in your ear, Maria, except for your elbow. The same idea works with networks, with friends. If you have too many friends, then it's hard to build those trusting relationships to share that access to information. It's hard to get from one area to another. But when there are small groups, it's easier to nurture each other, to say, hey, I heard you want to be a superintendent. I heard you want to go to the County Office of Education. During this time that we developed our circle, during the pandemic, I actually left the district office. It was a very painful decision, but I was able to make that transition with my friends. And I was able to find a job that was actually, it was uplifting. It was a promotion, but I was able to do that because I had a small circle that allowed me for opportunity to grow. Those are my dogs. I apologize.
Thank you, Maria. And she's definitely been, a true leader for all of us, and going through those ups and downs and experiencing that with her, and growing right alongside with her through her experiences. And as Maria was sharing about, the magic number, keeping it small has I think really what has made our sister circle truly flourish. And with keeping it small, you're able to have those shared experiences and those shared practices in a safe space. And that's where we're going to have Xandra, our next sister, share a little bit more about what a sister circle looks like and what shared experiences and practices we get to experience, to go through.
Nice. Thank you, Jess. And thank you. Maria, you did an amazing job right now. She's our researcher. She's just so smart, intelligent. I'm in awe of our entire circle. We just want everyone to be able to have this same circle. I'm looking at their faces right now and I'm just in awe to be a part of this group. Family is something that we love, and these sisters have become our family, and we know that we can tell each other anything and lean on each other for anything. And absolutely exactly what my sister Rosa said. It's the circle that we never knew that we really needed. And so I get to share with you about shared experiences and practices. And so what happens in our sister circle is what Sister Lynn would say is magical, always. So first of all, professional resources. What happens in our sister circle is, here's some images of what you'll know with professionalism. And so we are all leaders, we are all in education. And so every district is doing something that is similar when it comes to looking at policies, practices right now in the nation with, just the racial divide in social media and the wellness that is needed by our staff members, as well as students and faculty. We lean on each other for programs, for resources, and we create Drive, like folders within technology. In Google Drive, you'll see the image, or Google Sheets, things that we can share resources. Oftentimes as leaders, specifically women, also, we feel that we have to do it all on our own, and we start from scratch and we work ourselves into the grave, like trying to figure out how to do something. And chances are there's a sister who has something, or a colleague in another district. Well, that's what we are. We are in 6 different locations throughout our nation, most of us in California, but nonetheless, policies are policies when it comes from the federal government. And so we help each other every single day. And it makes our work smarter, makes our work go faster. And we just, as simply as dropping it in our chat group, because we chat every day in text message, we said, does anyone have, right now in California, the LCAP is a really big thing. Does anyone have the LCAP resource for this? Does anyone have this? And we immediately go back and we find the resources and we share them. So it makes our work a lot easier. So we definitely share, professionally speaking, resources. Another thing that we share is positive affirmations. They know I'm the crazy sister, and they'll admit it every single day. I am the crazy one. I'm not the youngest, but I am a little bit out there with the energy, and just love to celebrate people, and I love to celebrate these gals. And so they already know I have a text message and a meme or a quote or something for everything. If somebody is hurt because somebody in their job hurt their feelings or said something cruel, I'm going to have a quote that's going to just fix that situation up and make them smile. If they're doing really great work, and we just said another positive affirmation to help support them. We're also very big on social media. I am very big, they are as well. And so in social media, the quotes that you saw on that slide are things that we will put out and we'll tag everyone. So these are always the girls that I tag first, because I celebrate them first before I celebrate everyone else, right? Because I want them to know the love that we have in our circle, and that anything is possible when they put their mind to it. And so those are just a few of those. On the next slide, you'll see some of the other things that we do. And so you'll see what I mentioned before about retention policies. I mentioned a little bit about celebrations. Yesterday was my birthday, so I was super excited. We make sure we know everyone's birthday. They get together and they pitch in through like one of those social settings like Venmo or Zillow. And then what they'll do is, I got flowers yesterday and a super awesome spa gift card that I'm going to go very soon and get to relax thanks to my sisters. So we do things like that to celebrate each other. Selfies, it's on here. We love selfies, but not always do females want to do a selfie and put on there. You know what? These girls have given me the power to like take a selfie on any given day of the week and blast it out there, because we are unapologetic about being the fierce women that we are. And you need sisters to tell you, you look good, sister. You keep that up, because we need that in our lives, right? And then we just know things about each other. We celebrate when we have like board meetings that are running really late. Poor Lynn is on the East Coast, and sometimes she's in a board meeting at like 2 in the morning, and we're like, oh my God, Lynn, go to sleep already. But we're there to support and help each other. And we also have personal goals that we celebrate with each other. I'm getting my doctorate. Jessica's getting her doctorate. Veronica's getting her doctorate. Pam's getting her doctorate. Why? Because of these women. Like Maria, we sat last summer, I want to say, we went and had lunch together and spent an afternoon. And Maria said, you can do this. Like, don't even think it's not achievable. And we were like, what? Wait, what? Are you sure? Like, that's like a lot of work. She goes, the time is still going to pass, Sandra. Like, why won't you be just earning a doctorate? So super honored to be going to her alma mater. Go Trojans. If any of you are USC grads, University of Southern California, I'm so proud to she was my inspiration to help me get on that journey. And I'm a woman of Troy like she is. And so we are all doing those kinds of things. And we already have ladies with doctorates that are our mentors. So Dr. Rosa, Dr. Lynn are our mentors to help us support us in those journeys. And so that's, and this last slide there, you'll just see some crazy things that we do. So many wonderful things we share. Jessica and Veronica, if you're a school principal or you have family that's school principal, you need to be connected with them. They are phenomenal. You'll see on this slide, simple little things that they celebrate their staff with. It's amazing, like little themes that they do and things that they do in their staff lounges and just positive affirmations that they send to their staff. I share with all my principals as a superintendent. Another thing you see on this slide is gifts. When it's Christmas, when it's Easter, we send each other little things just to make sure. And then TikTok, oh my gosh, like TikTok. Who knows about TikTok? I don't, but Veronica does. So she's always sending us funny things just to make us laugh. So on your most positive day, you smile. And on your worst day, when you just want to crawl up in a hole and just put the covers over your head, you don't. You pull them back over because your sisters are going to lift you up. So that's what we do, my friends. And we're so happy and honored to share this with you. And now I have the honor and privilege of passing the torch over to my beautiful sister, Veronica Godinez.
Thank you so much, sister. With me, I'm going to share, and my own curiosity, what makes us click. It's a group of 7 women who we never met each other. We all knew Pam. I'm going to be honest. I was a fangirl of Rosa Isaiah, following her on Twitter. I think Jessica and I had we've all connected via Twitter in some form, and we all searched each other's profile, who these women were. Can I trust them? But what actually makes us click? How is it that this group of women has come together from a simple text to becoming this strong group of women that is empowering other women and each other? So I had them take a little quiz. It's called What's Your Genius? And what it does is it defines, like, it's almost like a fun 25 question quiz, defines your strengths or your personality styles. So it goes back to Chinese studies where they studied like the North and the South and the seasons of the year, and how is it that they all complement each other on a compass. And in having them take their quiz, it all made sense. The steel and the blazes, they complement each other. The steel is myself, and I'll share a little bit about that. We kind of balance each other. The temples are our timekeepers, keep us on pace. If we are getting out of our box or going to the extreme, she pulls us back and grounds us. Our dynamo is they create, and we give ideas to them, and they just create these beautiful presentations like this one. So for me, I'm a steel genius. I'm detail and overcautious. I'm more systems and managed data. So like this meeting that we were invited to, I pulled the slide deck, I sent them reminders. I'm like behind the scenes kind of person, making sure that everything is flow. Before we even started speaking, I sent them a list on a text message of who's speaking after what, and what slides you're going to be covering. So I'm all about systems and creating the easiest way and the best way to do it. The way my mind works is I'm intrigued by questions of how. So that's why when I ask, how is it that this group of women who we've never met each other per se in person, we didn't meet each other in person until a year ago, after we started texting. We had our first retreat in June in Palm Springs, and that's when we all came together, and it was magical, just like Sister Lynn says. So Jessica is our dynamo genius. We give her our ideas and we say, hey, we need this flyer, or she'll put together something for her staff, and she'll be sharing all of that with us in our slide deck or in our Google Drive. Then we have Pam, Zandra, Maria, and Rosa. They are our Blaze geniuses. They are our speakers. They are the ones that are going out there connecting with people and welcoming it in and being our voices for us. Lynn Mara is our tempo genius. She's very quiet. She's observant. And when she speaks, and she just keeps us on track as well. Like I said, I am your steel genius, and I'm strategic planning and managing events. And when the blazes get out of hand, I'm like, oh, wait a minute, hold back, let's think this through. So it just works magically. Pam is our blaze. She's the one that connected us. Rosa as well, Maria and Zandra. Zandra is Blaze on ×3. Like, she is like extreme. Like, you will follow her on any social media, and every morning she's got some workout of dancing or something, encouraging us to get up early in the morning and take care of ourselves. And Lynn, of course, is our tempo genius. So what we've learned, or what I've learned from studying our personalities, is that when you flow your natural genius, life becomes a joy. But if you focus on your weaknesses, everything becomes hard work. So we have found what our natural geniuses are and what makes us tick and what makes us click. And through that, we found joy in every day, even the hardest day. The hardest day always ends on a positive note. And I will pass the torch to my sister, Dr. Limara Colon.
Thanks, Veronica. Wow, I'm in awe. Like, I get to be part of this group. Every time that we do this, I can't help but feel grateful and blessed. And one of the reasons I'm very, very grateful is because I get to share space with a group of women that I sincerely trust. Trust is one of my values, and loyalty, and those who know me need that. I need to be able to trust people when I'm not in the room. So I say this all the time, because part of the relationship that we have is that we are very vulnerable with the challenges that we're experiencing, sometimes in life and at work. And that's what makes it special, that I can come in as I am, as the human I am, right? I'm listening to a book right now. It's titled, There's No Cure for Being Human. And there's strengths and there are weaknesses. And I know that whatever I bring to this group, they're gonna be honest with me, and they're gonna help me be not only a better woman and professional, but a better human. So I will say that when it comes to a sister circle, this is very important, and it's what's gonna make it stronger, and make ourselves as human beings stronger. So, all right. So with that being said, I would challenge you to think about who is in your ecosystem. And in some of my readings, I learned that not only we become like the people we spend the most of our time with, but there's a lot going on right now with pandemic and education. And we have to guard ourselves and be very careful, because we will attract the same things that are in our ecosystem. So I ask you to reflect who is part of that group, and how are they making you better? And how are they challenging your thinking? And how are they holding you accountable for your goals and grow as a woman leader, as a mom, as a friend, as a daughter, because that does matter. So as you're listening to our stories and the work that we're doing, I ask you to reflect on that and then challenge yourself with this question: who would you want to be in your circle? The reality is that, again, when I look at the group and feel grateful for spending life and time with these women, I would have never thought that we would have such a diverse group. I'm very private and quiet, but I'm surrounded with women with different strengths that just make me better and challenge me at times to come outside of my comfort zone and do different things and believe in myself and try the, I don't know, the lipstick or the superhero jacket and do fun stuff. So it's not about being surrounded with people who are like you, but people that just make you better. So think about it. Who would you want in your circle?
Well, thank you, Lynn. Thank you for that. And as you've heard, all of the sisters, we each bring our own gifts and talents and our own lived experience, but when you bring it all together, it creates what, you know, and Lynn is, our sister Lynn is known for creating the magic, for how do we create magical moments. And so what we'd like to ask is, actually, if you can just go back one more slide, Veronica, is just take a minute or two and maybe pull your phone out, or maybe just take a moment to jot down who in your contact list, who in your mind comes up to you that you would want to connect with, that you would really maybe want to connect each other with. And so just take a look, about a minute or so. Who in your contact list would you maybe want to connect with? And there was a comment in the chat from Ellen, who was asking earlier, you know, should people without a sister circle make the effort to find each other and start one? Yes, yes, and yes. And we highly, highly advocate for that. And I did put it in the chat that we keep this as our central sister circle, but we have, you know, branched out and created other sister circles so that we can bring other sisters in and connect them. So we become the connector, right? Pam connected us. We then have branched out, so you can see it like a tree with all these branches going out, and then they will hopefully go out and connect others. And so that's our goal, is that they would see the power in this, which is why we go around the country presenting on this, because it's such a powerful thing. So I hope that you were able to find a few people in your contact list and that come up in your mind, and that you take that leap of faith. Like Lynn said, stepping out of your comfort zone. Maybe you never saw yourself as a connector, but you can be that connector. Maybe it's just 2 or 3 other women, and take that leap of faith. What's the worst that they can say? No, thank you. Okay, you move on, right? No harm done, but you wouldn't know. You will never know until you try. So don't be afraid to be that connector. Next slide. And at the core of it all, just know that whoever you connect, whoever is connected, you have to be okay with being vulnerable. You have to be okay with knowing that you don't know everything, that you can't do everything, but those that surround you are going to help you become the best version of yourself. And with that, you have to allow yourself to take off the mask that we often put on as mothers, as leaders, as individuals, as wives, as partners, and be able to be vulnerable and say, I need help right now. I need support. I don't know how to handle this. And that's when you lean on that sister circle. And here's a quote: surround yourself with women who would mention your name in a room full of opportunities. We all work and function in different spaces. And when there's opportunities, you better bet that one of us, if we say, okay, this one's good for Rosa, this one's good for Jessica, this one's good for Sandra, you know, this one's good for Maria, wherever we might be, but that we all work in different spaces, but we will make sure, and we know hands down that no matter what room any of us are in, they will mention our name in a room full of opportunities. And those are the ladies that you want to surround yourself with. And so now we'd just like to, first of all, thank you, and then be able to answer any questions that you might have.
Jessica, where would you like those questions? Just verbally or in the
You can
chat?
put them in the chat, or you can verbally, however, we'll be happy to answer either way. There's 7 of us here, so we can definitely moderate all both spaces.
For our group, anybody who wants to can raise their hand in the reactions space, and Nernie, maybe you will call on them, okay?
Sure. I need to be able to see them though. Oh, let me do that. Hold on. Let me do that real quick. View, hang on, sorry. Wait, trying to look at the whole, can you take the presentation down, Veronica? Can you, there we go, cool, there we go. Yeah, I have a question. So you, and I hear these stories secondhand from Veronica, so nothing private, just the experience. She doesn't share confidences, but what do you do when, because all people have conflict. What do you do when you do have that in this group that you're incredibly vulnerable with and supportive of one another? What happens when it isn't magical? Because I can't imagine that it's always magical. And if it's always magical, I question that. So, so what do you do when it's not magical?
I'm going to be honest with you. I haven't had any non-magical moments.
Okay.
But I'll let somebody else answer. But I honestly, I haven't felt any conflict. But maybe others can speak on that.
We agree to disagree. I mean, we really never. We acknowledge everyone's opinion. It's an open floor. I may not agree with you, but I still respect you.
Yeah.
And we talk it out and we discuss. Sometimes our texts then become voice messages because it's too much to text, but we've never had a conflict that has made us
I guess I didn't mean
step out. Yeah.
Conflict. I meant like, because that was all definitely especially with like 5 blazes, like there's got to be like, cross paths and cross focus and things like that. So I was just curious. And so it's just patient and multiple means. Okay. Thank you.
And I'll add a little bit. Oh, go ahead, Maria, you go first.
Thanks. And I'd like to add that one of the things that really supports the friendship is that we really feel there's space and room for everyone to shine and to be a part of the conversation, to be a part of the lead. And there are times when we do ask, like, hey, did you do this? Can you do that? I'm waiting for, and then we just bring it back up, like, hey, I thought you were going to do this, or did I misunderstand, or I'm wondering, or how about, and we do, and we have a difference of opinion around some organizations, and we allow for that. And I'm not going to, back down from my opinion about something, or when I thought something was going to happen, but I just put it out there. And once I put it out there, I release it, and I don't expect anyone to change their opinion or to come to my side of point of view. I just put it out there, and that's it. I'm done with it, and I release it, and I allow it to just go. I bless it and release. And I think that's important for us to also allow for that space to bless and release, and then allow for someone else to take over and for their opinion to move forward.
Yeah. And I'll add, I think it comes back to trust, a lot of trust. And so we will put information in our group chat or in our conversation, and we just trust. And in all of us, we're all alpha females in our roles, but in this group, we don't have to be. Like, I am completely fine without taking the lead on things. I do that in my own organization. And so I just trust this group so much. And so if there's something that we don't agree on, it doesn't have to be my way. Like, I'm totally okay with that because I trust this group's organic, just intelligence as a whole moving forward, that everyone has each other's best interest. So I don't get hung up. None of us get hung up on, if I wanted it this way, but we're going to do it a different way. I'm cool with that. And I think it's just, that's part of the sisterhood, and just knowing that we all have everyone's best interest and we're protecting each other's reputation and integrity. That's a really big one. We don't do things that we don't all agree that is important, because we all have reputations and within our own right professionally, and we can't have anyone damage that. And so if one of us sisters says, we're not going to do this, guys, it's not in our best interest, I've heard this about, whatever, we don't do it. And so we don't have conflict because we all agree that that's not that important.
And then Nelda, you had a question.
Yes, a couple questions. I'm impressed that so many in your group all showed up. In other words, it's important that you all have your faces here and be there. And I'm overwhelmed at your qualifications. I had a combination of questions. The length of time, when you first formed, I didn't hear that. And it sounds like you now see your role as proselytizing the sister circle. And I would like to know if you have results of a few other groups or how many have been formed.
I can go ahead to share to that. We started texting about 1.5 years ago. We met for the very first time, June 2021, in Palm Springs. 6 of the 7. Lynn had just gotten back from Hawaii and it was just not feasible for her, but we did FaceTime with her. So we still continue to connect with her. And then your other question was other circles. So yes, Jessica and myself, we have a sister circle of principals, just principals from different parts of Southern California. And then Xandra has a sister circle of superintendents or assistant superintendents. And I actually started another group with one of our sisters who found us on Twitter. And most of these women we've connected through Twitter and different conferences. And I have a sister circle. We have a Facebook group of principals from across the United States. And one of the questions was, you know, I'm feeling lonely. I wish I could have this group. And I was like, whoa, let's do it. So I connected with somebody from Arizona and New York. And then we had Dioselina, who goes on our monthly walks with us, and Rosalva, who is also a principal in Colton. So aside from doing these presentations and connecting virtually, we have been asked to present at different conferences. 4 of the 7 presented in Washington, D.C. just recently. So we were able to be in Lynn's space and she was our tour guide. And also our goal is to write a book and continue sharing our story and adding new chapters as we go. And becoming an organization that continues to empower women. So one of the other activities that we do as sisters are coming up to practicing for an interview, what we do, we become their panel. We meet with them on Zoom, we do a mock interview and we give them feedback and all the session is recorded. And then we put them back in the waiting room and we give them a pep talk. You're gonna do this. Each and every one shares a positive affirmation, a positive thought, and send them off with a plethora of resources that they can listen back to, reflect, and get ready to land that next job.
Thanks, Veronica. And like I said, because I follow them, I'm connected with a lot of them on social media now via Veronica. I see evidence of all of this expansion and, you know, Veronica will tell me what they're doing and it's exciting whenever I talk with her about it. Anne, you had a question.
Yes, I loved your presentation and I love your whole premise. And I'm wondering how you can relate that to an actual school site where the teachers are feeling very isolated in their own classrooms and maybe not as supported, but also taking it to how you're going to get educators to become administrators. So that's where I see it branching off, that it would really be helpful.
Jessica, you want to share some of the magic you create on your campus?
So I think when they see their leader connected in the way that we're connected, when they see their leader sharing resources and connecting them. So I try to be very intentional about connecting my teachers with other educators that I think they're going to be able to learn from and share resources, which then they become connected. And when you set the tone and the example of being a collaborator, of being a learner, of being an innovator, of being a risk taker, of being able a collaborator that comes together and brings their people in, I think they really do feed off of that. So then they're not afraid to say, I'm going to not just close my door and be on my own, because I don't have to be alone. Look, my principal, she's out there talking to all these people across the country. And what does that happen? That makes her a better principal, which then makes her a better leader, which then makes the school better, and which then makes me a better teacher, which then in the end impacts our students. And so I think just by them watching, it is huge. And when you bring back all the ideas and the inspiration to your school site, I'm the first to say, look, not my idea, right? But my so-and-so, my sister over here, or I got that idea from so-and-so, and here's where you can get ideas. They realize that they're winning and they're benefiting from me being a connector. So then they feel empowered to do the same, even if it's just within the school site, or, start within the district, stepping out of your comfort zone. Why aren't you collaborating with somebody at the school across the city? That's okay. We have Zoom now, right? So I think that from that perspective, that's how you can have your teachers connecting in the same way that we do. And the other piece that I try to be super intentional about is, as oftentimes you hear teachers say, oh, I would never want your job. I would never want to be a principal. And it's tough right now. Granted, I don't want to put anybody through the being a principal right now, but I said, but why? Because it can be so great. Is it challenging? Yes, but your job is just as hard, right? Because I want them to see what it can be. And by setting that model, and that's why I love being a principal. I have really hesitated going to the district office because I really feel like my calling is the school site, and where I can really be an example for others. So others can say, wait a minute, you do have control of the culture you create on your school campus. You do have control of how you bring the community in, how your students are made to feel special. And when they see what it can be, I'm hoping that inspires them to say, you know what, I can do that too. And I want to do things like that because I know that they benefit from it and they can go on and create the same for them. So I think just the example that you live by every day is really speaks volumes.
Thank you. That's great.
Thank you, Jessica. And then we'll close out with Erica. If you had a final question, Erica.
Yes, or a comment, or what I would like to focus, my question on is, how do we at AAUW use your model to make us more of a circle? Like we have 48 people at this meeting. We actually have about 170 members of our organization. And we have, a dozen or so interest groups that have been, of course, COVID has interfered with everything, but we get together in Zoom groups, and we have reading groups and racial justice group that discusses our own relationship to race and public policy. And there are all of these various groups, but I don't feel as though these groups are sister circles. And part of that, I think, is because we don't take the time to spend maybe at the beginning of our meetings really connecting with each other. I think that was clear last week at our the diversity speaker when she broke us out into breakout rooms and tried to help us get to know each other, is that here we are, an organization of 100 and something people, and in live meetings we get 60, 70 people who come to the meeting, and yet there isn't a sense of sisterhood. As the way I framed it was, everybody needs a girl gang, and you are a girl gang, and so my question is, how can we better either make our interest groups or our branch meetings, or there's some way in which we can feel closer to each other. Now, when we met live, whenever, millenniums ago, we did have, a half hour of socializing, where people would just, go around the room and talk to each other and sit and talk to people at their table. But we haven't really been doing that as much. Last year, Sue, I know, last year's president, she tried to do before each Zoom meeting, a half hour of socializing. But I think that that's an element, you know, what you know, your feelings towards each other and your personal help to each other is something that is in some ways missing from our branch and from our group. And I don't know if any of you have some, I mean, I have some ideas about how we could do that better, but I'd like to, you know, ask you all how you would go about doing it.
Thank you, Miss Erica, for that. I think what I've learned is that with anything that I want to grow in, I have to invest in. And there is a fine line between friendship and professional, inspirational group, a motivating group, and then a group where you can just be a girl gang and go and have a margarita together. And that requires a different kind of investment. And I do agree, this is an incredible large group, and it's hard to do that in a group session. I would imagine that, you know, soon enough you're going to be meeting in person, or that you have opportunities to do that throughout the year. But I would encourage you to create those sister circles within those circles, and not necessarily focused on the committee work, but just focusing on the connection and relationship, and maybe learning and vacationing together. It just breaks down a few of those barriers where it's, okay, it's business, let me take off my jacket now, we're done. And it doesn't mean you don't admire each other and respect each other and learn from each other, but there's something to be said about investing in the fun and the play and the just hanging out together. So that would be my recommendation.
Thank you. Thank you, Rosa. So I think that's the end of our presentation. So I thank you all so much. I feel like I know you each a little bit just because of following Veronica on social media. And I've been inspired by what you've shared today. So we are going to have a business meeting now. You don't have to stay for that. So enjoy your time, and we really appreciate you. And I'll make sure that the membership gets your presentation and any links and all your socials and stuff like that if they want to connect. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Have a great meeting.
You're welcome to
Bye.
stay if you want to see how we interact with each other. Okay. I think that was inspiring, and now we can see where it helps us go from here. But all right, this will now be the business meeting. Nernie, did you send a copy of the minutes to everybody?
To you and Priya and Kay, and then Kay sent them out yesterday with the meeting.
Okay.
So everyone should have gotten a copy. Yes.
Yeah, we got them.
Yeah, everybody got them? Okay, great. So then I won't go over them thoroughly. I thought that Nernie did a good job of discussing our speaker from last week, the generational diversity, awareness, inclusion, and belonging. Is there anything that anybody out there has to add to this or subtract or reaction to the minutes? Okay. I thought they were very good, and I move that we accept them and file them as they are.
I second that.
Okay. Are there any objections? Okay, the minutes will be accepted and filed as sent out by Nernie. Okay, the financials. Is Ellen here? Ellen Weiss? I think she's not here. Was that sent out to everybody? No?
You,
Do you know? Trish, do you know if those were sent out? Lernie, do you know?
no, but I did get along the budget.
Okay, well, we're not gonna talk about the budget. Let me just see if I can, here we go. Okay, can you see that, the statement of activities?
Yes, yes.
Okay. That, there were 4 or 5 different pieces of paper that were sent. But I think that this is the one that, if you can see it, which shows us overall what our branch revenue was, what our revenue was for Nancy Yowell, STEM revenue, mission fund expenses, and where's the mission fund revenue? And then on this, the second page, what our operating expenses were, what our program expenses were, and total expenses. I'm looking for the bottom part here. Our net income was $8,355. And this doesn't show what our output, what our actual, our output was. But at the moment, from what I understand, and if there's somebody who understands it better than me, that we are doing all right in terms of balancing our income and our output. Is that correct? Let me see if I can find another. You all just looking at this? Your eyes are spinning.
Do we accept it to be filed?
Yes. This is December. So this has been presented to the board and has been accepted by the board. It just has to be accepted also by the branch. Do I have a motion to accept and to file this? There are 3 or 4 other parts to it, but this was the one that Ellen told me was probably most useful to look at.
Erica, you don't need a motion. You just accept it.
Okay, I just accepted. That's good to know. So this has been presented to the branch. It's going to be accepted and filed as is. All right. So let me stop sharing. Okay. Okay. Try and get this phone up. There we go. Okay. Now, what I'd like to do now is to have various interest groups make a report on things that are going on, because I think there's been a lot that has been going on, which was it kind of increased by our focus these days on diversity. But I have a list of people who I would like to make some kind of a report, starting with Catherine on the STEM conference. Are you there, Catherine?
I'm here.
Okay, would you just make a brief report on, because that's coming up.
So one of the things that's happening right now is that Linda Browning, our volunteer coordinator, and Patty and Sally Trost are along with her on that, contacting people who many months ago perhaps signed up and said, yeah, I'll be at the STEM conference. And we really appreciate everyone planning to show up for that. And I encourage you, if you haven't heard from her, and you might be thinking, gee, did I actually sign up or not? That you just contact one of those 3 people by email and confirm that you'll be there. I think we're also thinking about now who we might need for the March 26th conference and out in Beaumont, but we don't know yet how many students are attending, so we don't know how many volunteers we're going to need. Today at 12:30, we're having an in-person get-together at the pool, the community pool at where I live, to stuff envelopes and put labels and stamps on letters to the girls who are coming to the conference. Tells the girls more detail about what is going to happen that day. We have Packet Day at University Methodist Church on February 19th. Need a lot of volunteers there who like to do collating. And so Ellen and Rosemary Conway and Ellen Cope are the chairs of that. They've got donuts and coffee that morning at 9 for us when we come. And then the conference is March 2nd. There's every indication that it's going to go forward live. So I'm going to prepare more information about that for the newsletter. So keep your eyes peeled. Thank you.
Okay, so for anybody who wants to stuff envelopes, it's after this meeting. And would you post in the chat the address where we can go? And then also the names of the people to contact if you want to help, you know, if you volunteered but haven't been contacted.
All right, will do.
Okay, all right, great. Sue.
Yes.
Sue, you were going to make an announcement about great decisions, right?
Right. Great Decisions is coming up. Sue Ferguson had ordered books for those people who requested her to do that. And the books are in. So if you ordered a book through Sue, just contact her and she can get together with you to deliver the book to you. It's a paperback book that has 9 different articles in it. This year's a little different. In the past years, there's been 8 articles. This year, there's 9. So we're going to be meeting for 9 sessions rather than 8 sessions this time. So it'll be all the month of March and all the month of April. There are 2 groups. One is an afternoon group that meets on Monday afternoon starting at 1 o'clock. That's the group that I'm in charge of, and we will be meeting at my house. The second group is a Wednesday evening group that meets at 7 o'clock, and Sue Ferguson is in charge of that group. So I put in the chat who to contact if you're interested. It's not too late if you still want to join one of those groups for the discussions. And by the way, the articles are all on foreign policy issues, and they're very, very current stuff. And so usually we have a moderator who leads the discussion, and then somebody hosts the meeting. With our group, I host all the meetings, but somebody usually brings a dessert to share with everybody. And then we discuss the articles and the current issue that the article covers. So if you're interested in joining, you can go online to greatdecisions.com and order the book yourself and have it mailed directly to you. So if anybody's interested, please contact either me for the afternoon group or Sue Ferguson for the evening group. But we're looking forward to getting started in March. The evening group will start on, I believe it's March the 2nd. Let me double check that one.
March the 2nd. It's also
March.
the STEM.
Is it?
Yeah, but that's in the March the 2nd would be the evening group?
It's
Is
the
that?
evening group,
Okay.
yes, yes. And then March the 7th will be the afternoon group. They will start then. And that's the one that's at my house at 1 o'clock on Monday afternoons.
Okay, could you just really briefly give an example of what kind of, I mean, for people who have never been or, don't know anything really about great decisions, an example, a couple of examples of what sort of articles are in that book?
Yeah, they usually go with very current topics. In the past, we've done topics on China in Africa, for example, and the role that China is trying to increase in Africa. This time, I haven't looked at the list yet, but I have a feeling one of them is going to be over the Ukraine and Russia in their moves, the foreign policy moves and so forth. But they're all foreign policy issues for the most part. They've done some on the environmental stuff, on global warming, just all kinds of issues, and what our role, the United States role is in all of these foreign policy issues.
Okay, that's helpful because I'm not sure everybody knew, exactly what kinds of articles they're reading. They're very interesting and very
they're only about,
fact-filled.
they're usually only about 6 or 7 pages long, and then they give you extra readings that you could go to online to look at in addition to those readings that they provide for us. In the past, we've had a short film that we watched each session too before we did it, but they've changed those types of films, so I'm not sure we're going to be doing that this year, but we still have the articles to discuss, and there's questions at the end that we can answer and those kinds of things.
Okay, great. Thanks a lot. Let's see what else I had. Cassie, are you here from Public Policy?
Yes, I'm here.
I'd like Cassie to just briefly tell everybody about what kinds of things we're doing and how we've been focusing on trying to get Redlands, applying for Redlands to become a five-star branch. We do so much and yet we have never been recognized for it. And we realized that one of the reasons we were never recognized is that we didn't put the application in. So Cassie, will you talk a little bit about, what we've been doing and what we've been finding out?
Yeah, I'm happy to. I'm sorry that I don't have video this morning, but if you can hear me, that's all you really need. So I've been a member of AAUW Redlands for about 5 years. And the thing that impressed me was the quality of the monthly programs, the fact that the chapter turns out 50 to 75 people for meetings. This is pre-COVID, of course. And the first year I began volunteering with the STEM conference as a host. And, I was so impressed with a conference that gets eighth grade girls, 300 of them, to a college campus. And the organization of the women who put on this conference is phenomenal. So I began wondering, every time I heard about a branch that was getting recognition, I was thinking, well, why doesn't Redlands get that recognition? Because we do all this wonderful stuff. The 2 STEM conferences every year, we bring girls together for speech trek, for tech trek. Yeah. And so when I became the chair of the Public Policy Committee this year, I began poking around on the state AAUW site, and I discovered this 5-star program. And like Erica said, sometimes it's just a matter of asking for recognition. And a lot of the things we do, there are very strict criteria in the areas of advancement, i.e. fundraising for the Greatest Needs Fund, public policy, governance programs, which we ACE, and communications and external relations, which we've also been doing a phenomenal job at, I think, because we adapted very quickly to having our meetings by Zoom to compensate for the inability to get together during this pandemic. So with my public policy committee, and I'm very thankful that Erica has been participating, we started going over the criteria, and we already check a lot of the boxes. And there are a few things that we need to add, and we've already done some of them. For example, our focus with the Racial Justice Committee. Erica just appointed a diversity officer. Our last two programs focused on diversity, equity, and inclusion. These are things just to align with the national strategic plan. These are things that we may already do, but nobody knows we already do them. So by applying for the 5-star program and beginning to focus some of our future efforts this year on checking the rest of the boxes we need to check, I think our chapter can get that status without a whole lot of additional effort. Thank you.
Okay, great. Ellen, would you like to say a little something about where we are with the racial justice? And also,
sure.
Ellen has, at least at this point unofficially, because we probably have to bring it in front of the board, been appointed our diversity coordinator, and or as I call her, the diversity czar. And no, you don't like
thanks. I don't want that title.
You don't want to be a czar. And she'll talk a little bit about where we are with the diversity, equity, and inclusion aspects, in part of becoming a 5-star branch. But Ellen.
Yeah, our racial justice group has been meeting for well over a year now, doing a lot of reading and soul searching and discussion and learning. And we've frequently find ourselves in either a small group or sometimes we're larger, depending on people's schedules. But one of the things that keeps coming up is how can we move forward with a sense of wanting to do something about the injustices that we've come to understand more. And then we cross paths with the 5-star program, wanting us to have a diversity coordinator and be more explicit about what we're doing within the organization. And a lot of us thought within the organization is actually a very good place for us to start with, kind of spreading more about what we've been learning and understanding, and making and then last month, a visitor who is now, I gather, a new member, Keita Wangari, I see you here. She said something about how when she looked at the organization and our presence online and our groups and so on, she was looking for where she fit in before she could make a decision to be part of the organization. And a lot of us have been thinking about that issue too, is how do we make our circle of friends and colleagues in this group more welcoming to the full range of people who might join us in our agenda about furthering diversity and girls in education and all the things that AAUW stands for. So those are things that we want to keep looking at. And we decided at our last monthly, we've been meeting monthly for discussions, and we've been doing a lot of reading, and we don't want to give that up. We want to keep learning and reading, but we also want to start doing things. So we talked about making our racial justice group into having the diversity, equity, and inclusion agenda for the group as well. So we'll be spending part of each meeting probably both learning and using the toolkit from the AAUW nationally about this, if the readings are appropriate for our interests. And the second part, trying to brainstorm and act on ideas that we have had. And one of them is, to start with, we're going to try to put a little discussion about what we've been doing in the newsletter, so that all of you and all of our members who are not in attendance at the branch meeting can know about those ideas and what we might be doing. And we want to try to make sure we have these wonderful programs that we have at the branch meetings get the publicity they deserve in the news. Particularly, we'll take responsibility for trying to make sure we have more stories about diversity issues and racial justice issues. So we'll just be working on that, and anybody who wants to join us is welcome to come by, even if it's just for one meeting. You don't have to feel like you're signing on to work assignments, but you might get some. Our next meeting is going to be March 10th at 6:30 on Zoom, and Erica usually sends us out the link. So ask Erica if you want to get the link to the March 10th meeting.
Okay, thank you, Ellen. Are there any other announcements from interest groups and like is somebody here from the IM?
Nernie has one.
Oh,
Nernie?
just that we have exactly one applicant for the scholarships. And so please, please, please reach out. I have emailed all of the past the applicants from last year that we were really hard to say no to. So hopefully I'll hear from them. And if we only have one, we'll either extend the deadline or figure out another path. But please, please, please.
Or if she's a good candidate, she gets it, right?
Yeah, she is. I mean, she already is. but we have, we have money to give, and it would be great to give that as much away as possible. So thank you.
Okay. Reading the Rainbow.
Yes,
that's kind of March. Who is
Amy Bezek? I'd like to talk about
Amy,
the event on March 24th. It is a community read in sponsorship with Smiley Library, as well as the Frugal Frigate, who is supplying materials for books for us if we'd like to purchase them through them. We are sponsoring a community read of the book In the Country of Women by Susan Straight, who is a Riverside author. And she will be in attendance at the Contemporary Club at 6 o'clock and share snippets of her book, read of the book, open for questions and answer period. And it is for not only the AAUW members, but also for the entire community. So please help us promote it and talk to your friends, bring them along. We'd like it to have a lot of attendance, and it should be really fun.
Great. I think that, not only will this be a great event, but a way of getting AAUW's name out in the community as well, of what we do and who we are. So great. Anybody from the IM group or anybody else who wants to make an announcement?
I'm here from IM. I just don't want to be seen because I haven't had a shower yet.
Okay, you can be heard.
Okay, great. It's been going well. We decided to go back to Zoom for the time being because of the uptake in COVID. I hear it's going down now, so hopefully soon we can meet in person again because we all enjoy that much more. We've been having some really good discussions and presentations, and I'm excited about it this year.
That's great. And we meet on the third Wednesday?
The third Wednesday of every month, or most months, at 12 o'clock for lunch at the Trinity Episcopal Church back in their kitchen area. And then our meeting starts at 12:30 to 2. And if I'm going to try to get the announcement out soon, I'm going to Seattle. So I will have a little problem, and I don't know how much I'll get a chance to do it before our next meeting. But so our next meeting will be February 16th, which seems like right around the corner already.
It is. Let me just say that at this next meeting, that the topic of conversation is hate, which which I volunteered to facilitate, but I think that it's something we need to talk about. So hate and anger, and so if you're interested in that, that's our next meeting topic. And is Kathy Toyster here? No. I will announce that we are hiking. We have, each of us had at least 3 hikes, and I know that the calendar said that the Wednesday hike was the third Wednesday, but I'm going to change that to the fourth Wednesday so that it doesn't conflict with the IM meeting. Although they're at different times, if you've hiked for a couple of hours, you may not want to go to a discussion group. So we're going to do it the fourth Wednesday. And I will have Kate change that. Amber, you're muted. Unmute yourself.
Sorry.
There you go.
I just have a question. The packet stuffing meeting on February 19th. Again, what time and where?
Is Catherine here? No, it's at the University Methodist Church, which is on Colton Avenue, 2 blocks from U of R, and Saturday, February 19th. It's in the
chat.
In the chat, and it's at 9 o'clock, February 19th. And yeah, it does last approximately 2 to 3 hours. And I don't know who does it, but somebody brings wonderful donuts. So if nothing else, come for the donuts. No, it's you feel, like you're getting something done when we do those stuffings. Is there an evening group for IM? No, it's all Wednesday afternoon at the church. All right, are there any other announcements from groups? If not, I would just like to end by giving I don't know that I can give a long tribute, but we lost Mary Jane Arbacher in the last week or so. And I don't know if you all remember, I think it was November that we celebrated her 100th birthday. So,
September.
It was September. And she has been a member of AAUW forever. She was one of our very longest lasting members. So I would just like to say a tribute to her. Is there anybody else? I know, Nelda, you wrote a tribute to her for the newspaper. Are you there?
I'm here.
Would you like to just say a little bit about Mary Jane? Just a short.
Yes, I was my understanding that it was the 99th birthday. I don't know.
I thought it was
So
close.
I wrote 99th, so I don't know. Yes, a wonderful woman who did so much for the community, but was so soft-spoken that you really, really had to know her to realize what she was doing. A great loss to our community.
Thank you. Okay, if there's nothing else, then I think it's time to adjourn the meeting. There have been.
But I wanted to see, did that get on the chat where we're going in an hour to help stuff those envelopes? I didn't see it.
The packet assembly.
We're doing it in February, another time in February, but these are stamping and stuffing today, right? At 12:30?
It's at the pool
yeah.
house at Catherine's complex.
And is that
Right.
over off of Lynn Street? Is that where she lives? Okay, you know,
wait, I'll give you the address.
let me just say that is a job that took about 20 of us a whole hour last year. And so we can use a lot of bodies. I just heard about it just now. So I'm hoping some people will go there.
Nelda, it's not until February the 19th.
No,
the stuffing, the envelopes that goes out to the girls, that's today, right after this meeting.
at 12:30, and I'm not sure that got across to everybody, and I don't want to be the only one. It would take forever.
If you
Right.
look in the chat, there is a message from Catherine Brown that says packet assembly for STEM is at the University Methodist Church on Colton Avenue, 2 blocks from the U of R on Saturday, February the 19th at 9 a.m.
Yes,
Yeah, there are two
There are
stuffing events.
two, there are two different stuffings. That
Oh.
one is to put all the packets together for the girls. What we have to do this afternoon is put letters in envelopes.
And put
okay.
stamps on them. And the Lincoln Shrine open house is from 12 to 4. And so I just wanted, if you need help, you need a lot of people over there at her house. And I don't think we knew where the pool, I think I know where she is in the pool, but we need help.
Catherine Brown's address is 2.
Yeah, you don't want to go, you don't want to go to her house. You want to go.
Well,
to-
you go to her house and then go around the corner.